They said the billionaire's son was broken. 3 years old. Never spoke. Not in English. Not in any language. In the glass mansion on the hill, money flowed like water. But the house was still, painfully silent. Maids came. Maids went. Another one fired, Driver John whispered at the gate. Poor girl lasted 10 days, Cook Emma muttered. In the middle of that cold palace lived a little boy, Michael. Big eyes, soft hair, empty voice, until one day, he opened his mouth, and spoke his first word. Not in English. Not in the language anyone in that room understood. He spoke in Mandarin. Everyone panicked. People shouted. Phones rang. The rich family looked totally helpless. And then, the one person they always ignored, the poor maid with second-hand shoes, stepped forward and answered the child in perfect Chinese. What did she say? And why did that one moment shake the entire rich family? Let's go inside the story. Backhand index pointing down. Sophia stood at the massive iron gate, clutching her faded bag. The mansion looked unreal. Glass walls. Marble steps. 4 luxury cars in a straight line. She took a deep breath. Bah, calm mil j, sab thik ho jayega, she whispered to herself. The guard scanned her ID. Didn't even smile. New maid? Go to the back entrance, he grunted. Inside, the kitchen smelled like fresh bread and stress. Emma, the cook, looked up. You must be Sophia. Yes, Sophia said softly. First day. Emma gave her a tired half-smile. Let's see how long you survive. Survive. Sophia frowned. Emma leaned closer. You're maid number 8 in 6 months. Since the boy stopped making sounds. Sophia blinked. The billionaire's son? Emma nodded. Michael. Sweet child. Silent house. Before Sophia could ask more, heels clicked on the marble. Evelyn entered, the billionaire's mother. Pearls. Perfume. Pure attitude. Her eyes swept over Sophia like she was dirt on the floor. This is the new girl? Evelyn asked. Yes, ma'am. Hard-working, Emma said quickly. Evelyn stepped closer to Sophia. Listen carefully, she said, voice cold. You are here to clean, not to speak, not to give opinions, and definitely not to get close to my grandson. People like you do not belong in his world. Understood? Sophia's cheeks burned. Yes, ma'am. Evelyn smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Good. Remember your place. She left a trail of expensive perfume behind her. That night, in her tiny servant room, Sophia lay on her narrow bed, staring at the ceiling. The mansion felt heavy, rich, silent, lonely. She pulled out her cracked old phone, opened a language app, whispered into the dark. Ni hao, Baba, Mama. No one knew she'd been secretly learning Mandarin for years. On the other side of the wall, a little boy also lay awake, staring at his ceiling. He didn't know it yet, but someone in this house finally spoke his language. Would you believe it, that the poorest person in the mansion had the key to the richest child's voice? Morning started before sunrise. Sophia. Glass doors. Now, shouted Mrs. Lee, the housekeeper. Sophia rushed to wipe fingerprints no one could see. If Madame Evelyn sees even one mark, Mrs. Lee said, you'll be gone by tonight. Understand? Yes, ma'am, Sophia replied. At 9 a.m., the energy shifted. The front door opened. Bodyguards straightened. A black car slid into the driveway like a shadow. Robert Lee stepped out. Mandarin tech billionaire. Dark suit. Hard face. Phone in hand. He walked through the entrance, talking fast in Mandarin. Move the meeting. No delays. Tell them my time is expensive. Sophia heard the words and froze. She understood. For a second, she moved her lips silently, copying his sentence. She felt a strange twist in her chest. We don't belong in the same world, she thought, but we share the same sounds. Later that day, Mrs. Lee pointed down the hallway. You, clean outside the playroom, she ordered. And don't bother the boy. He doesn't talk. And if something goes wrong, it's your fault. Sophia nodded and went to work. She heard a soft vroom sound. A toy car rolling. Tiny feet tapping the floor. She glanced through the crack in the door. There he was. Michael. Curly hair. Big brown eyes. He sat on the floor, rolling a small car back and forth. No sound. Just the soft plastic wheels. Sophia's heart tugged. So small, and so lonely, she whispered. Suddenly, the peace broke. Heels and perfume arrived first. Evelyn. There you are, she cooed, stepping into the room. My grandson. Why do you always hide? Michael stared at his car. Say something, Evelyn begged. Just one word. Come on. Grandma is here. Silence. Her voice sharpened. Why won't you speak? What is wrong with you? Michael's little hands shook. Sophia gripped her cloth so hard her knuckles turned white. Then a deeper voice filled the doorway. Mother, Robert said, stepping in. Enough. They argued, status, shame, reputation. Words flew over Michael's head like knives. His chest rose and fell faster. Sophia could see it from the door. A small body absorbing big emotions. Then, he opened his mouth. Soft, broken, but clear. Robert froze. Michael. The toy car slipped from the boy's hand and rolled out of the room, stopping at Sophia's foot. Michael cried out again, louder this time. The sound hit the walls like an explosion. The billionaire's son had finally spoken. But none of them understood what he said. What would you do if you heard a miracle, and didn't even recognize it? The house erupted. Emma rushed from the kitchen. John left the driveway. Guards peeked in from the hall. He spoke. Oh my God, did you hear him? What language is that? Is he okay? Evelyn clutched her necklace. Call the doctor. Call the therapist. Something is happening to him. Michael was crying now. Tears streamed down his face. Robert knelt in front of his son, panic breaking his usual cold expression. Michael, he said in English, what do you need? Are you in pain? Tell Daddy, please. The boy just sobbed and repeated the same word. Robert looked around, desperate. What is he saying? Does anyone know? Silence. Highly paid staff. Imported nanny who'd already packed her suitcase. Therapist on a screen. Not one person answered. Sophia's heart hammered in her chest. She knew that word. She had whispered it in her tiny room. Baba. Dad. Her mouth went dry. Her mind screamed. Stay quiet, Sophia. You're just a maid. Richlog pasand nahi karti jab garib bolt hain. But then she looked at Michael. He wasn't a rich heir in that moment. He was just a child who wanted his father. Before she could stop herself, her feet moved. She stepped into the doorway. I think I know what he's saying, she said, voice shaking. Every head turned. Evelyn's eyes were ice. You. What could you possibly know? Sophia swallowed, but didn't back down. He's saying Baba, ma'am, she whispered. It means Dad in Mandarin. He's calling for his father. The room went dead quiet. Robert stared at her. You understand Mandarin? He asked. A little, she admitted. I learned on my phone. After work. Free videos. Slow. But I tried. Evelyn scoffed. We pay world-class doctors, and now a maid thinks she's the expert? But Michael looked up suddenly. His eyes landed on Sophia. He hiccuped through his tears. For the first time, he saw someone who understood. What happens when the lowest person in the room is the only one who truly listens? Sophia slowly walked closer, careful, respectful. She crouched to Michael's height and spoke softly in Mandarin. Bu yao pa. Baba zai jili, she said. Don't be scared. Dad is here. Michael's eyes widened. Someone had answered him. In his language. His crying slowed. He took a shaky breath. Baba. Sophia nodded and turned to Robert. Sir, if you want, you can say. Was I? It means, I'm here. Robert hesitated. Years of pride sat on his shoulders. Mandarin was his business language, not his love language. But he looked at his son, then at Sophia, then back at his son. He swallowed. Was I, he said, voice rough. Baba zai jili. I'm here, Michael. Dad is here. Michael's face crumpled, not in sadness this time, but in relief. He took a tiny step. Then another. Then he threw himself into Robert's arms. The staff stared. Emma wiped her eyes with her apron. John looked away, pretending something was in his eye. Even Mrs. Lee's chin trembled. Evelyn, furious and shaken, hissed under her breath. This is ridiculous. Let the professionals handle it. Robert finally stood, Michael clinging to his neck. He looked straight at Sophia. You, he said quietly, stay. Those two words hit harder than any paycheck. Sophia dropped her gaze. Yes, sir. Evelyn snapped. She's just staff. Robert didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. She's the only one in this room who heard what my son was really saying, he replied. Right now, that makes her more valuable than any of us. The power in the room shifted. Rich versus poor. Master versus maid. For one moment, they were just humans around a crying child. Have you ever seen the whole room's respect change because of one brave sentence? Days turned into weeks. Sophia wasn't just the maid who cleaned glass anymore. She became the person who sat on the floor with Michael. They built towers from blocks. They pointed at picture books. Sophia would say, cat. Then quietly add, Mao, ball, show. Slowly, the boy started mixing languages. Tiny sentences. Small giggles when he got a word wrong. Robert began coming home earlier. At first, he stood at the door, just watching. Suit on. Tie tight. Face unreadable. Sophia gently encouraged him. You can say, Wa I ni, sir. It means, I love you, she said one evening. Robert's throat tightened. He glanced at Sophia, then at his son. Wa I ni, Michael, he whispered. Michael's smile lit up the room. Wa yeah I ni, Baba, he shouted back. I love you too, Dad. Even the walls felt warmer. Evelyn still resisted. She's just staff. Don't give her so much importance, she muttered. But she began to notice something she couldn't deny. Her grandson laughed more. He cried less. He ran through the halls now, calling, Baba, in 2 languages. One night, when the house was quiet, Robert stopped Sophia in the hallway. Thank you, he said simply. She shook her head. I'm just a maid, sir. He held her gaze. No. You're the one who listened when the rest of us were too proud, too busy, or too blind. Sophia smiled, eyes shining. He just needed someone to speak his language. Rich people had money, power, status. Poor people had hunger, humility, and sometimes, a deeper way of seeing. In the end, it wasn't wealth, doctors, or fancy degrees that unlocked Michael's voice. It was a poor maid, a cracked old phone, and the courage to speak when everyone expected her to stay silent. In real life too, the guard, the driver, the maid, the nobody, often notices what the rich and powerful completely miss. Sock Kubateo. If you were in that room, and the only person who understood the child was the low-class maid. Would you trust her voice? Or would your ego ignore her? Speech balloon comment Karkabateo. Kabi isa hua kujais insan ko sab ignore kardithe, usan sabasi important bot samajli? What happened, and did it change how you see rich versus poor?